Good morning, friends. It is Julie, and I am here with the beginning of my vlog for the Fall into Fantasy Readathon. Let's jump right into it. As you can see, I am freshly out of the shower, still pajamaed. It's the weekend, and I am prepping for the Fall into Fantasy-a-thon, and I wanted to go over my TBR with you because some things have changed since my video went up, even though my video only went up for you on Friday. Today is Saturday morning. I will probably be starting reading tonight late at like midnight. First up, I will still be reading Everything All at Once. I'm pretty excited about this, and I actually got the ebook of this from my library, so I think this is going to be like my travel book or my nighttime reading book. I really like to have options for my ebooks, even though I have the physical book, because at night I can read it like backlit and I don't have to get up and turn off the light later, which is why I also got They Both Die at the End on ebook form as well. So I think this one may actually officially make the TBR because this one was pointed out to me as also dual POVs. So it has multiple POVs. I think I'm going to swap out my sequel for Chainbreaker by Tara Sim, which is considerably larger than Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I also don't know the story, so it's probably going to take me longer to read. But this is a series that I would like to catch up on before the end of the year. So I don't know if there's more than 2 of these. I don't know if it keeps going, but I really, really liked Timekeeper by Tara Sim, and I read it forever ago, like during the summer, and I kind of want to keep going with that. The Reader by Tracy Chee. This is my diverse read as well as a new series. Laini Taylor's Lips Touch 3 Times. This was going to be my multiple POV. Now it isn't, but I just really want to stink and read it. So I'm probably going to start this tonight at midnight because I think this will be a good midnight read. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. Shadow of the Fox is also multiple POVs. Honestly, I don't think I'm getting to that, but I want to get to it. And then I want to get to The Broken Girls. So tonight, I need to go babysit my niece. And today, I have some time, but I think I'm going to work on my book. Hi guys, it's me, and I'm back in pajamas, even though I've got makeup on. I just got home. It is 11 o'clock at night, and I did start a little bit of reading while I was babysitting, because my niece went to bed at like 6:30, and I was there till late. So I did a little bit of reading, because why not? I am 47% of the way through Everything All at Once by Katrina Leno. I feel like I see where the fantasy aspect of this book is coming in, because right now it's reading very much like a contemporary. It's about a girl whose aunt dies. She wrote like the equivalent of this world's like Harry Potter. This really, really famous children's series about a sibling pair, brother and sister, who are immortal. They basically found the Fountain of Youth. I don't think we're supposed to not see it coming. Like, I think you're supposed to see it. I'm enjoying it. It's a really good study on grief. It's a really good study on anxiety and depression and just moving on. And this aunt is trying to help her niece because she's now passed, and the niece has a lot of anxiety issues and kind of stays in her bubble and doesn't really push herself. So far, so good. And yeah, at 47%, I anticipate it's going to be a pretty decent read. I am probably going to just continue reading this tonight. It's 11 o'clock now, and I don't think I'm going to start Broken Girls because I just kind of want to like take off my makeup, lay in bed in the dark, and my Nook is backlit, so I can read while I lay in bed until I fall asleep. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I also did start The Reader by Tracy Chee, and I started that in audiobook format because I re-downloaded it. Nobody had taken it out again from my overdrive, so it was still available. So I just picked up where I was last time. I think her aunt now at this point has been captured, and she's on her own. She's met a boy who doesn't speak, and they're going to run together. So far, so good for the readathon. So yay. Hi friends, and welcome to the first day of the Fall into Fantasy Readathon. It is Sunday, and it is 1 o'clock, and I've done no reading, which is okay. I've actually been busy writing newsletters and doing other kinds of work. So I think what I'm going to do right now is actually work on my book. I have my giant binder of edits that I did, all my paper edits, and then I have my computer in front of me, and I need to implement them. Also watching a Harry Potter marathon. But earlier while I was doing other stuff, I did listen to more of the audiobook of The Reader. I'm making my way through that book, and I'm like 57% of the way through Everything All at Once. So I've got a decent head start on some reading. I am thinking I should probably finish Everything All at Once today, but I want to do a little bit more work on my actual like physical book, like my book, and then I'm going to read as a break. So I'm going to reward myself with reading after I've done some work. And I'll update you the next time that I've read. I am back with a little bit of a reading update because I have been reading a little bit. I did get back into bed and decided to give myself a little bit of a treat of reading after working on my book just a tiny little bit. And I am reading Everything All at Once by Katrina Leno. I'm on chapter 19, which is 77% of the way through the book. And I'm thinking that will be a pretty fast one. I'll be done it pretty soon. Right now, I'm a little bit torn on it, just because there's something that's like missing the mark for me right now. The story is good. I like the discussion of grief and I like the representation for anxiety, but the like fantasy element that's kind of being thrown in right now, I feel like it's not being tied in very well. I think that it's very, very clear what the fantasy element is, and the fact that the reveal hasn't come yet just feels really weird. Like if it just came already, I think that the rest of the story would benefit from it, but the way that it's happening just doesn't make very much sense to me. What can you do? Also, I've had a little bit more time to listen to the audiobook of The Reader, and that's going really, really well. I think I'm listening to that rather quickly, so I think I'm already about 55% of the way through that book. The language in it is beautiful. Like the writing is really, really good. Doesn't have a name, doesn't have a voice, doesn't talk. And she named him Archer, and they're kind of running, and then there's also this like dual storyline of these like pirates and these ships and this like explorer, and that's being explored through the book that she's reading. Alright guys, so we're looking at 9 o'clock on day 1 of Fall into Fantasy, and I finished Everything All at Once by Katrina Leno, and I really enjoyed it. All throughout it, I can't really fight the fact that it felt like there was something a little bit off about it, so I think I'm going to go with 4 stars. Series Tuck Everlasting vibes, like real serious, but it was still really, really cute, and it was a good look at mental health. I super enjoyed it. So another win by Katrina Leno and a good first book for Fall into Fantasy. I realized that I really haven't shown you the cover for Everything All at Once, so this is that, and I did go ahead and rate it 4 stars on Goodreads. I just wrote my review, and I was going to start The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, but I think I'm going to actually start Lips Touched 3 Times by Laini Taylor instead, because it's a short story. It's 9 o'clock at night. I think I can get through at least 1 or 2 of these stories and knock this one out and have like a more impressive finished word books. I finished 3 books so far this month, so I need to beef up my finished books. So I think this might be my next read. So let's see how that goes. And welcome to day 2 of Fall into Fantasy. It is Monday, and it is 10:15, and I came home from work. I have, you guys know this, but I have like a break in my day from like 9:15 to 12:45 when I've got to head back to work. Last night I did read a little bit of Lips Touched 3 Times by Laini Taylor. I got this filler in, which I think is 24%. I think there's only 3 stories in this, and I read the first one, and it was about goblins and a girl who is just feeling a little bit left out and has like a little bit of a weirder family, and knows that like vampires and goblins and things are real, and she should be on the lookout for them, but she's not, because a boy starts paying attention to her, and she's like, hey, you fine, something's off, but I'm gonna run with it. It was really good, and the illustrations in this book are stunning. I will turn the camera around and show you guys some. Laini Taylor's husband actually illustrates this book, and they're beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of that one. I'm probably going to just do like another short story later tonight. But when I got home, I actually started Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I love this book. Like the brown and the blue is gorgeous. I am not very far in. I'm on page 28. I have a feeling I'm going to really love it. A lot of people have really, really, really liked this one. And I know it's like a little bit spookier, but I'm here for it. So I'm excited to read that, and then I will be reading They Both Die at the End on my Nook. The Reader I read more of this morning as well on my way to work, and then after I drop the kids off at school and I come home, I listen to it. I got a little bit further in that. I think I'm like 62% of the way through that one now. Still enjoying it, hoping to finish it today, and I should have enough to do between like errands and then like laundry and stuff there. I'll just like put in my earbuds and listen to it. So my goal is to also be done The Reader today. I got a book outlet order, and it's mainly gifts for the kids that I nanny for. So I'm just going to show you the couple books that I got for myself in the order. One of them is A Madness So Discreet by Minnie McGinnis. I'm intrigued by it. It looks interesting. I've heard really mixed things, but it's always on book outlet, so I figured I would give it a go. Then I got this, which again, I think somebody just reviewed and really, really loved. The Beast is an Animal by Petronella Van Arsdale. This one is not, I don't think it's a retelling. I don't know what it is though, honestly, except for the fact that I am super, super stoked on it. It is just really cool, like, mythology on the inside right here. I have no idea when I'm going to be able to get to it, but hopefully sooner than later. And then I picked up The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden, which I have no actual interest in. I think it's like Russian folklore. It's been compared to Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which I hate it with my whole entire being. But Mel from Mel to the Any raves about this book and says that it's beautiful, and for a couple dollars, I really couldn't, like, say no. So I'm really, like, honest to God, this is what I'm nervous about. Like, I feel like this is going to sit on my shelf forever and ever and ever because I just don't think I'm going to like it. I would love if I was proved wrong. I know the writing is really beautiful, and if it's anything like Laini Taylor-esque or really pretty, I know I'm going to really like it, but I have a lot of hesitations about this one, so we'll see. But I want to like go into it with an open mind and hopefully enjoy it. One last book, and it is Blood Magic by Tessa Gratton. You guys know I loved Strange Grace by Tessa Gratton, and I was supposed to be reading Queens of Innis Lear like now, but my slump was just not gonna let me read like a King Lear retelling, like behemoth of a book. But this was on book outlet, and it is witchy, and I'm here for that. I think somebody sees her doing a spell and they shouldn't have seen her doing the magic. Back blurb is so, like, I'm so intrigued. Tessa Gratton, I thought, really did Strange Grace really well, and I'm excited to see where like a full-blown like witchy book goes. This one was published, I low-key hoped this was signed. It was not. This is 2011. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm really excited. These are the 4 books that I just got, and the rest are for kiddos. The rest in that box are all for kiddos for Christmas. But that's it for this little tiny haul. I'm gonna get back into reading here on The Broken Girls and here on Lips Touched 3 Times, like almost the same percentage of the way through. This one I should hopefully get a whole bunch further in, and this I'm really enjoying, so we'll see. I'm back with a really, really quick reading update for my Fall into Fantasy. I finished the second story in Lips Touched 3 Times, and I'm on page 146. So story number 2 was probably, I don't know, I want to say that like story 1 and 2 were both like 3.5 star reads. They weren't like phenomenal and mind-blowing, but they weren't bad. They just lacked a little something for me. I'm still reading Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I'm on page 68, and I am enjoying this. I'm hoping to get more time with it tonight. I just don't have very much time right now. And unfortunately, my audiobook for right now is my smutty book. It's not even one of my fantasy books. So that's my reading update for day 3. I'm hoping to really push through the end of this readathon when I have off for like my Thanksgiving break. Right now I'm still working and trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done, so I'm not reading quite as much, but I have finished 2 books. I finished Everything All at Once and The Reader, and I gave both of them 4 stars. The Reader I really enjoyed. The language was beautiful. I feel like there were certain parts of it I still don't understand. I'm assuming they're going to be cleared up in the next book, but I love the idea of a book about books, like where books are magic and words are magic and like literal actual magic. I'm intrigued by it. I'm really enjoying it. And I read as many books in this readathon as I did the prior part of the month. Today is the day after Thanksgiving and we still have a couple days left of the readathon, but I am leaving right now to go to a friend's house. I'm staying there overnight. I will not be reading today. I do have my Nook with me, and on my Nook right now I am reading They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I'm about 47 to 50% of the way through this book. It's all right. I also have on Saturday my read starting for A Curse So Dark and Lonely, so I don't know how that's going to pan out in terms of like how that reading works, but A Curse So Dark and Lonely I can fit into my fantasy-a-thon, my Fall Into Fantasy readathon TBR if I have to. But I did finish my 3rd book already, and that was Lips Touched 3 Times by Laini Taylor. So far, The Reader by Tracy Chee and Everything All at Once by Katrina Leno were finished. They were both 4-star books. This one was 3 stars. 3 short stories, and I think they were probably all a solid 3.5 star. None of them were particularly amazing. They were all okay. They were all perfectly fine short stories. They were all good. They all had different mythology and like background and lore to them, which were really cool. Bothered me most is that the girls in them were like a little bit idiotic. Like, I'm used to Laini Taylor writing these really strong characters, and in this one they're kind of being swindled by fae or goblins or magic because they want this first kiss. They just want to, it's like, it's all about not romance exactly, but like first kisses. Like, there's a girl who full blown knows that she's gonna get into trouble if she kisses this dude. She does it anyway. Just kind of girls acting silly for love. In the back of this, I do have a couple of red flags because the last story in this, which is the longest story and the most fleshed out story in this, just full blown rape. The fae inhabit the bodies of these kids. They're like 14, go into their bodies and have sex. And they have no control over it. They can't stop it. In some situations, they have memories of that. In some, they don't. Like, sometimes they can have their memory wiped of when they're not in their own bodies. Sometimes not. But, like, this young girl wakes up, like, and she's pregnant. She didn't want that, you know? Like, it's pretty gross. I didn't love that last one, but I get it. Some of them are really dark and gritty. Am I stoked to have more by Laini Taylor? Am I stoked to have more of her stories? Yes. Did I love it? Is it my favorite Laini Taylor? No. So 3 stars, a couple 4 stars. It is Saturday. We still have all day tomorrow as well to read. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I'm about halfway done. I've been reading this mainly on my Nook, but I did want to like visually see how far I had made it into the book. The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, and I'm a little bit less than halfway through. And then today I started A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmermeyer, and I am 97 pages, 98 pages into that. This is an arc that comes out in January, and it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. The 3 books that I'm still reading, I've had a lot going on, and I didn't have nearly as much time to read as I thought I was going to have. So not as successful as I was hoping for, but finishing 3 books this week and getting like this far into this many others is still better than I've done all month because I was so slumpy. I finished book number 4, so I officially have succeeded at this readathon, and I still have a day left, so I feel really good. I finished They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, which is a dual POV and an LGBTQIA plus book. This was a 4-star book. I really liked it. It was good. I cried a little bit at the end, wiped my eyes, and forgot I was wearing makeup for the live drunk show tonight. So that happened. But luckily, it still looks okay. So that's awesome. It delivers on its title. They both die at the end. We knew that was coming, right? It's another like found family kind of a situation. And you guys know I love found family stories. Rufus and Mateo. And I love the Plutos. And I loved everything about it. It was really good. The pacing was a little bit off at first, and I was like a little bit unsure about the whole situation. I don't really know why it was necessary to like meet other people in their last day. Like, I don't really know how like the reporter girl and like other people played into it, and why you had to know like this person wasn't dying today, and they never explained Deathcast or why this is a world in which this happens, which is weird to me. It felt a lot like More Happy Than Not, like mainly contemporary with like a little bit of like, what the fuckery. It is Julie and I'm here with a final update for the Fall into Fantasy readathon. It is 11:20 on Sunday, the last day, so I have about 40 minutes left of the readathon, and I've officially finished A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmermeer, which was supposed to be a 5-day read and I read it in 2. Because I just couldn't stop reading. So I'm officially the worst buddy reader because I just read ahead all the time. Probably gonna go 4-star. I really liked the pace. Like I said, it was a really quick read for as big as it is. I think it's like 477 pages and I read it really fast. Basically a girl's taken from like modern current times into an alternate timeline where there is magic and this like Beauty and the Beast kind of a curse. Here's the thing. I also like Beauty and the Beast as a story. Yes, we have an entitled prince who takes way too long to get his head out of his own ass. That's a given with any Beauty and the Beast retelling, but Harper as a main character was really, really strong. I really liked the representation, at least for me, of cerebral palsy, CP within this book, and Harper as a main character kind of correcting people, that it's not something that needs to be fixed. There's times during this book where people kind of assume that it's a casualty of like a war or an injury that she sustained, and she's like, no, I was born this way. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't realize that this is not a standalone, but this is going to at least, I think, have at least one more book. I don't know about after that. I'm gonna 100% be here for it. I really, really enjoyed it. I stand by like a 4-star for this one. Everything All at Once was the first one that I finished, and then The Reader by Tracy Chee, and then Lips Touched 3 Times by Laini Taylor, and then I finished They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, and then A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmermeer. I think I'm probably gonna throw this back to my wrap-up, like, and ending that I filmed yesterday because I had makeup on. I looked a whole lot more alive, but I really didn't think I was gonna finish anything else, and then I couldn't stop reading this. I think that's gonna be it for this readathon. I'm gonna flip back to my outro that I filmed yesterday, and I'll see you guys in a video really soon. That has been the Fall into Fantasy readathon. I enjoyed every single minute of it. It really got me out of my slump. I finished 4 books that I know of at this point, which is way more than I finished for the rest of the month. Super win, Penguin Teens, awesome first readathon. I really enjoyed it. I loved being a part of it. I hope you did too. Let me know down below how you did. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see all of you in the next one. Bye guys.